Hello everyone and welcome back to Crazy Bees. Hope everybody's been doing well. I just got home from work a little while ago and I am starting to work on these onions. I'm actually almost finished. I wanted to bring you guys in and show you how these turned out. We know that they were very small, so I think my biggest one got that big. So they were pretty tiny. I have a lot to learn about onions. But I'm going to wash all these up and then I'm going to put them in the freezer because I don't think they'll be shelf stable. And then some of them I let dry so long waiting for the other ones to finish drying, they turned into just nothing. I mean, the whole thing just dried out. So I'm going to put all of this in the compost and I'm going to finish getting these all peeled. And then I'm going to use the mandolin and get them diced up and gonna get those in the freezer. And it's Friday night right now and we've got a lot of projects that we're gonna do together this weekend. So we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, we've got our onions all diced up. We're going to put these in a quart freezer bag and get those in the freezer. First project done. Okay, we are back as promised. It is Saturday afternoon. I just got home from work a little while ago and got right to it. We've been busy. I'll show you some of the stuff that we've been doing, but right now I have my long sleeve shirt, my long sleeve pants, my gloves, ready to deal with this okra. One of my neighbors is awesome. We always share things back and forth and she's just awesome. I love her. She likes okra. So we're gonna pick some plants for her or some pods for her and give them to her, and she also wants some basil. So we're gonna see what we can do with that. So some of these are going to be too big, but I'm going to let her figure out what she wants and what she doesn't. I'm just going to give her the whole thing, and she can do what she wants with them. Oh, I got to watch what I'm snipping. I just snipped off a tip. Okay, these ones I'm going to save. They've got the seeds in them, so I'll keep these for seeds for next year. You know, I can't say that I don't like okra because I just haven't experimented with it enough. But this year and this season, I just don't have time. So I'm going to let her enjoy all of that, and hopefully next year I'll be able to try new recipes and see if I can come up with things that are just delicious. Okay, I think we've got all the okra. Look at this, is a grocery bag and it's just full. And then I've got all of these seeds. Yay! So I guess that was for this season, was saving okra seeds. So last year we saved the broccoli, I tried to save the kale, that didn't work. Now we're saving okra. So, getting out my stockpile of seeds. But we got plenty now of the okra seeds, and you can see if you leave them on there long enough. Look at that. Okay, everybody, it is getting dusk. We were out here working, and I didn't even realize my battery died. So, you know, you just can't go back and redo it. So, this is the lemon basil. It was up to here. I took a bunch of this over to Alice. And then this one here is different. It was on the left side, and I'm not sure what this one is. It might be the Thai. It's got a little spice to it. This might be the Thai. So, I'm going to make 2 different jars. I'm going to start tonight by, you don't have to steep these very long, but the longer you steep them, the stronger they'll get. So I'm going to steep, in this one, the lemon, and then in that one, or I have another jar in the house that I'm going to steep those in. And I'm just going to let that go overnight, and then we will come back tomorrow, and before I strain it out, I will show you how many leaves I came up with for this. Hello, baby. Hi. Hi. She loves talking to me when I'm sitting in this chair. So, that's what we're going to do, and then, of course, tomorrow I am off, so we have many projects to do. We got, well, let's take a walk and I'll show you what we were doing while I thought the camera was running. Good morning, everybody. We are at 5:30 in the morning. I am just starting my coffee, and this is the coffee grounds that we use. Black Rifle, that's owned and operated by veterans. I always like to help the veterans wherever I can. Okay, here we go. Last night I steeped my basil tea, and this morning I am straining it out, and then I am going to have to put it back on the stove to add the honey and stuff, because you can't add honey to cold tea. It will not mix well. Okay, you guys, I've got this all heated up, and I added 3 tablespoons of my local honey. We have a farmer's market here that I go to, and this is the mesquite honey, and then I added the juice of 1 lemon. I'll put the recipe from where I got it from Jessica at Roots and Refuge. Her friend Taylor and her did it together. And she's always raving about her basil tea, and I had so much basil out there I didn't know what to do with it, and I just tried this, you guys, and it is amazing. This is the lemon, and over here I started the Thai, and I did let mine steep overnight, and I think I'm going to do that all the time because it gave it such a deep, rich flavor. It's really good. So I'm going to take this one off the heat, let it cool down a little bit so I can put it in my jar, and then I will store it in my refrigerator. But that is amazing. Alright, this is the Thai, and it has come up to a warm temp. It's a little hot. There's some steam coming off it, but it's not boiling. And this is approximately 3/4 cup of honey. You can put more or less to taste. I think I'm actually not even going to use that much because that last one was so sweet. So I'm going to mix this in here, and then I'm going to taste it, and we'll see if we need to add more honey. That's all you do, is you do all of this to taste. I'll put the link in the description, or I'll put the recipe in the description, but you go by what you want. If you want a stronger tea, you steep it for longer, and you can use more tea leaves and more water. If you want a sweeter tea, add more honey.
If you want a little bit more zing, add more lemon. It's all to your preference, all to your taste. But I am so excited to have something besides pesto to do with my basil, so it quits going to flower all the time, because I just don't use it enough. But I love having it in the garden because it is amazing companion plant for tomatoes and peppers, and just out in the garden it's just a wonderful plant. It detours bad bugs, and it brings in pollinators. It does, it deters.
Deters, you said detour.
Oh, it deters. Sorry. I guess it detours too, but makes them go somewhere else. Okay, so let's get that honey all mixed up in there with that lemon. And then we're going to give it a little taste test. Oh, that's good. It's got more of an earthy flavor to it. Let me get another one and I'll have Candace taste it and see what she thinks.
Hot. You didn't blow on it. I'm just kidding. No, I like it. It's very mild.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
But way different than the lemon.
You mean the basil?
It's the lemon basil.
Okay.
And this is the Thai basil. So,
yeah, it's
we're
very
going to
mild.
let these cool off. And then, do you think this one needs more honey?
Yeah.
Yeah, put a little bit more honey in this one.
And a little bit more lemon.
We added more. We added more lemon, and we added a little bit more honey to this one to see if we can give it just a little bit more flavor. Oh yeah, that made a big difference. Get another spoon.
It's very blurry.
And I have to blow on it for Candace, so it's not too hot.
If you try doing an airplane, I'm gonna hit you. That's better.
Okay, there you go, guys. This is how we make basil tea. And you can serve this hot or cold. I am going to let it cool down before I put it into my pitchers to put it in the refrigerator. You do want to store it in the refrigerator. So that's the first step of many things today. We'll see you in a while after we get breakfast and dressed for the day. Okay, it is still early outside, so we're keeping our voices down, so hopefully you can hear me. But on the third part of your basic gardening series, we're talking about planting. You've got your raised beds done. You've put them in places where they're going to get the adequate sun and shade that they need. Now it's time to plant. So here I've got winter squash. Now winter squash is actually a summer squash, but they call it winter squash because of how long it stores, the storage life on it. It will store, if it's done correctly, all winter long. So what I'm going to do is, where I pulled out those tomato plants over there, I'll show you in a minute, I'm going to put these. Now winter squash sprawls more and it vines more than the zucchini. So I'm going to let it go crazy over there for a while, and then when it is done, I will put out my broccoli and my cauliflower. But I do want to see if I can get some winter squash in, and if it's not done, I'll put my broccoli and cauliflower in containers. That's always an option too. You can grow broccoli and cauliflower in containers. So I'm going to get these planted. Now, when you're deciding what you want to plant, you want to know what zone you're in. I'm in zone 9B. You can get on Google and you can type in what is my zone for my area, put in your area, and it will come up with your zone. You want to plant the right things at the right time, or you will not get a good harvest. So be sure to check that very first. And then you need to check when you can start planting things. Here in Zone 9B, we can start planting things again, like beans and peas. Well, not even peas really. We can do beans, we can do the cucumbers, we can do squash. We can do a lot of things right now. And then after the temperatures get under 100 degrees consistently, we can start planting peas and cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, all of the fall crops, once we start dipping down into lower temperatures at night. So I'm going to get these planted for now, and then we will talk a little bit more about seeds and transplants in a minute. Hello.
Queenie. Hi.
Okay, now that we have got these squash planted, you can see here I've got one right here. I'm doing about every 2 square feet. I did one there, and then I did one over there, and then the last one I did over here. Now, to maximize this space, I will probably put some flowers along this edge right here. But here I got the basil, which we already talked about is frost sensitive, so it will probably die off. The squash might actually, the big leaves of the squash might actually protect that basil and keep it in here a little bit longer. And now that I know how to make that tea, I really want to keep my basil in here. The peppers are growing vertical. And then I want to maximize the strings that we have here that we did the tomato plants on. So to do that, I'm going to do some pole beans, and I've chosen the Blue Lake and the Kentucky Wonder. So let's pop a couple beans right under each one of these things here. Okay, so we have the holes done, or the beans done in their holes. per each trellis here. And on this side we did the Blue Lake pole beans. Now on the other side we are going to do the Kentucky Wonders. Okay, I actually had to get into this bed. I will have to straighten out these lines before I plant. But this is such a jungle here. But like I said, I'm maximizing my space and going vertical, so there's nothing right here on the ground. It's going up, so it'll go to the sun. And I'm pretty sure I'll be covering all of this up with some tulle to keep the birds from coming in and eating my seeds. It's important that you water everything in when you're done planting. Give it a nice drink. Nice deep drink. Okay, and now to maximize our space in here, to be able to maximize this trellis, I'm going to put sugar daddy, snap peas, and sweet peas. No, not sweet peas. Sugar daddy and sugar snap on the inside here, so they can go up this trellis. Now here I might not be able to do it. I may be able to do one here. But right here, this tomato is like taking over this part of the trellis. And then here we've got these, all these pepper plants. Look at what they did to my raised bed. They just took it over. But I think the peas will get enough sunlight once we take off this shade cloth to where they will reach for the sun and they'll work their way up this trellis. I can't plant anything inside because it is just, as you can see, it's just crazy in there. And then on the other side, it's basically the same thing. We have all these pepper plants just going crazy in here, but nothing is going up the trellis. So I want to maximize that space. So I am going to try the sugar snap peas in here also and see if we can get them to germinate and go up the trellis. You know, you guys, now that I'm saying this out loud, I might just start these peas inside and then plant them out where they have a better chance of getting the sun. Because right now it's pretty hot out anyway and they don't like heat. So, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start these peas inside and then we'll plant them out in October. We started our fall plantings. Went crazy with the peppers again. We're trying a bunch of different peppers because the last batch of peppers that I started, 90%, well, not 90, 70% of them, 80%, let's go with 80%, didn't germinate. So we're trying some new ones again this time, and I am not using that seed starter mix that I tried last time. It was mostly cocoa coir, and it had wood chips in it. I just didn't like it. It wasn't the Purple Cow that I usually use. It was some different brand that I had gotten during COVID, and thought I would use it up, and I did not like it at all. So this time I'm actually just trying our regular potting mix and seeing how it goes with that instead of spending money on a starter mix. So we did these rows here of the peppers, and then this row here is all cauliflower, and I'm just doing one type of cauliflower, one type of broccoli. You know what I mean? I'm not switching up the different types because I want to be able to save seeds. And when I did that last broccoli, I couldn't tell you guys which one it was. There were 2 different types of broccoli that I had planted, and I don't know which one it is. So there's that. I'm not worried about it because I'm not like selling seeds or whatever. Broccoli is broccoli. So I did plant that, the seeds that we saved here. So I want to see if, you know, they're viable. I'm really hoping they are because I did give some of those away. And here we're doing and you can tell I'm using a different system. Instead of just doing one tag for each row, I am doing one tag per plant. And I'm doing the labels and not the writing on the sticks. So here's broccoli. Here is the Catskill Brussels sprouts. Here is the Tetenor cabbage. This is a purple cabbage. This is the Brunswick cabbage. This is a green cabbage. And then we have what cauliflower is that? Robur cauliflower. 5 of each one. Did 2 seeds in each one. So we'll see how everything germinates, but I got to get these under the light, and I put them on a heat mat because the peppers love the heat. So we're going to get that started. So that's one more thing that we did. The only thing I have left on my table today is getting those pepper plants or those peppers in the dehydrator. And then we have to deal with the tomatoes. I bought some Roma tomatoes, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with those. So the second tray that I did, we were talking about doing the snow peas. This is the one we went over already. So we were talking about doing the snow peas and the sugar snaps in here instead of out in the raised bed garden. So that's what I did. I did 2 rows of the sugar snaps and 2 rows of the sugar daddies. I'll let them get started, and then maybe mid-October we'll put those out. I think they'll have a better chance that way, because last year when I started them from seed, the mice and stuff ate everything, and by the time they finally got big enough to produce, it was too late in the season. So we're going to try it this way. So then I did a couple different things of spinach. Then we did several different types of lettuces. We did Bib, we did Butter Crunch, Loose Leaf, Merlot, Blue Curl. Oh, this is the kale. Then we did some Swiss chard. We did some romaine. Then I did 3 different types of kale. And one of the trays is Dino Kale. That's my favorite. So I did 3 things of that. And then I have arugula. I only did 1 of those because that's pretty spicy. So we got all of that done inside. So let's go see what we did outside. Hello, Scarlett. Scarlett. Hi. Okay, let's turn off the fan.
Okay, now we've got the tomato plants that I did not get planted today. These are all Roma, and the reason I bought them from the nursery was, look at this. There's 2 in each one. So I actually have 6 plants here that I'll be planting out. So as part of your basics series, that's another thing you want to look for. When you go to the nurseries or the stores and go to get transplants, if you're not doing your own seeds, look for things like that. They were $4 a pot, so I basically spent $2 per plant. That's a pretty good deal. So I haven't gotten to that. I'll probably get to that tomorrow. But we did get a lot of other stuff done. Tom got all 3 of the laurels trimmed up. That was a big job. He had to get up on the tall ladder in order to get that done. We took down both sides of the shade cloth to see how the plants would do with that, and they seem to be adjusting fairly well. They're a little bit droopy, but not bad at all. They're doing very well. They handled it very well today, so that's good. So next weekend, I'm sure we will be taking off the rest of the top. Got that done. What are you doing, Scarlett? What are you doing? I don't have nothing. I don't have nothing, baby. I kept all of the shavings from the laurel and stuff to use in my compost. All of this stuff is great to use in compost if you're in an area where you can start your own compost. Save things like this. When you do your churning, you'll put that on the bottom and work it through, and it'll break down. I filled up these 2 pots here, and I put thyme in this one, and I put some eggplant seeds in this one. We already took care of the okra together, and then when Tom had that thing out today, I just told him to do a straight cut on that oregano for right now, just to clean up this area. I'm going to have to get my blower out, and it's got a sucking attachment and it mulches, so I'll clean all of this up. And let's see what I didn't do. Still didn't get to the bottom of this tree with all this weeds, but we will. And then over here, oh, birdies. This is why I did what I did today. I came in here and we did those bean seeds back here along this wall. I covered that with the tool for the same reason as what I just saw. Birds are going to come in here and they're going to try to eat my seeds. So I got those covered on this side. And then yesterday you saw us staking all of this up. And then on this side here, I started we did the bean seeds together, and the squash plants went in, and I covered all of these up with the tool on this side. And then I was over here just a little while ago, and I was watering this bush, and there's just all kinds of weeds in here. Still have to finish cleaning this out. This is on my next to-do list. We have one plant here. I don't know if you can see, there's one vine here that's still green on that plant there. So it's not dead, and it'll probably shoot up some more shoots elsewhere. When you have blackberry and raspberry bushes, they will just shoot up pups in random areas. So a good example of that is, if I can show you, some of these are thorny, some aren't. But right down there, you can see a baby. That's a pup that came up. So all of this will have to be trimmed back. But when I was watering, look at this. We got little flowers coming in. And I'm not sure why, and I'm hoping it's not too bad, but we are getting some, I'm not able to, my goodness, focus. I'm having a hard time focusing the camera. Go, Scarlett. And under all of these beds, I've cleaned out all the dead flowers now. I'm going to put some cowpeas. What are you doing? What? She's crazy. Okay, I'm going to put cowpeas in here, and what that's going to do is it's great ground cover, and it is going to put nitrogen back into the soil. Anything that's in the legume family is going to put nitrogen back into your soil. You do have to let the plants come to full fruition for that to work properly. Over here, oh, look at this poor squash. He's like, help me, help. Hopefully he does okay. We put the sunflower right there in that cage, and these sunflowers or these squash plants are looking a little sad, but when the sun goes down, I'm sure they'll be just fine. I hope I was able to give you some more information on your next step, and it's a fun step. It's so much fun. Planting, figure out what you want to plant, but the main thing I have to give you advice on is when you're doing your planting, if you're starting seeds, like I told you in the last video, try not to overwhelm yourself. When you're doing your seeds, just do a couple trays of things, and maybe do 2 seeds. And then you can pick from your best plant that comes up to be the one to get potted. And there may be some that you just want to keep both of if you have the space, which is also wonderful. But just don't overwhelm yourself, and make sure whatever you're planting that you remember at the end of the season, you have to have time to harvest. That's the best advice I can give you. That's the hardest thing for me, is I love the planting and I love watching it grow. And then when it comes time to harvest, I have to find the time to do that. So, be ready for that wonderful burden. It's an absolute blessing, and I am so grateful for it. I hope this video was able to inspire you and give you some ideas of different things that you can do. And we will see you in the next video. Take care.